Welcome back to Star Flag Media. My name's Anthony, and I just want to start this episode off with one thing. It's over. It's over for anyone that's still thinking that Microsoft is not going to go the way of not just third party, because they're carving their own niche, but that they aren't going to be putting all of their software on everything available. This goes back to my theory that we've got one more console generation left out of Microsoft, and then they will go the route of everything digital on the other consoles, and then focusing on Game Pass being their new platform. With timed exclusives. So we'll get 6 months. And why do I say all of that? Because according to Nate the Hate, which is a notorious leaker when it comes to gaming and technology in general, but for months now, we've been inundated with tons of reports of leaks and rumors and speculations. But now this is the moneymaker. And Nate the Hate reports that Halo is coming to Nintendo Switch 2, which also means it's also headed towards the PlayStation 5. Well, that's the trademark for Xbox fans. That is your mascot. That is your Super Mario. That is your Astrobot. That is your big exclusive. And so this comes from GoNintendo.com, but it's been reported across Kotaku and IGN, and of course the source is Nate the Hate's podcast. It says here that on the latest episode of Nate the Hate podcast, we once again hear some supposed inside information from Nate the Hate, who has a pretty solid track record when it comes to rumors and inside info. This time around, Nate potentially has the inside track on some very high profile ports that could be headed towards Switch 2 and PS5. So according to Nate's sources, Microsoft is currently working on bringing Halo, the Master Chief Collection, to the Switch 2. You might remember that years ago, there was plans to bring Halo to the Nintendo DS. Of course, that would be different because it's, at that time, the DS wasn't viewed as any kind of direct competition. Well, that project was unfortunately canceled. If Halo, the Master Chief Collection, does indeed head to Switch 2, it'll mark the first time the series has ever appeared on a Nintendo hardware. And if it's going on Switch 2, it's coming to PS5. What better way to debut the world of Halo than with a compilation of Master Chief's greatest outings? Apparently, that's not all. Microsoft will be bringing over to Switch 2. As Nate the Hate also mentions that Microsoft's Flight Simulator will also make its way onto Nintendo's next-gen system. We don't get word on which version of the game is being planned, but you'd have to assume it would be the 2024 installment. These rumored titles from Microsoft make a ton of sense, as the company has been very clear about their multi-platform efforts in recent years. They've also especially fond of Nintendo when it comes to software. There's no reason to think that the collaborative efforts wouldn't continue. And pushing ahead with Halo and Flight Simulator would be a massive showing of support for the Big N. Outside of Microsoft, Nate the Hate also has the supposed inside scoop on support from Square Enix. We've already heard rumblings of how Square Enix wants to go big on Switch 2, and if today's rumor is to be believed, that will indeed be the case. Nate the Hate claims that both Final Fantasy Remake and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth will see release on Switch 2. Those are two very heavy-hitting titles for Square Enix, and seeing them drop on Switch 2 would be impressive for a number of reasons. According to Nate, fans can expect Remake to launch sometime in 2025, with Rebirth to arrive at some point in 2026. And just to be clear, all of this software talk is nothing but rumors for now. That said, these titles aren't so far out of the realm of possibility that the rumors seem completely fake. Let's keep fingers crossed and hope all of this pans out. Listen, that first comment down there is hilarious. It says Master Chief for Smash. Microsoft boys, Xbox what Xbox, what's your take on this? It seems to me like everything that I've been saying for years is coming to fruition. Microsoft is slowly but surely moving away from traditional consoles. They are absolutely, according to their own CEO, just straight up pushing their software on every device. They want Xbox to be an experience that you can have across every device. Excuse me. And what did Satya Nadella say himself? We are going to be redefining what it means to be an Xbox fan. You are no longer the target audience. They're done with being in last place. They're done with coming in anything but first. So, how do they maximize profits for their shareholder? Remember, Microsoft is here for their shareholders first. You are just a byproduct. You are the reason that they are there for the shareholders. So, thank you for your support the last 20 years. Here is going to be what we're going to do going forward. Your support wasn't enough to get us over the top. Our shareholders want us to be everywhere. It doesn't make sense for us to just keep our stuff in our little bubble and keep coming in last place. Xbox has no home in Japan. They are big in America, and that's it. And that's it. They have a small presence in Europe and zero presence in Japan. They are not a competitor outside of the United States. They really aren't. It's all about Nintendo and it's all about Sony worldwide. And, Nintendo's been on a roll with the Switch. They just surpassed the PlayStation 2 in the United States for all-time sales. It's the top-selling consoles of all time in that country. So, this is it, guys. Microsoft is saying everything is going to be everywhere. And there's no bigger version of that than Halo. Halo is their brand that is synonymous with Xbox. And now we're seeing the Master Chief Collection coming over. And you might be saying to yourself, well, it's not the latest one and it's not the one that's coming afterwards. Well, now I ask you, how long until those make the jump? Because now you're just moving the goalposts. Because if Halo is coming, guess what else could be on the horizon? Gears of War. Let's get Gears of War running on PlayStation 5. I bet you it'll find a huge home. They're looking at these install bases. They're looking at what Nintendo has done over the last couple of years. They're looking at what their acquisition of Activision, and they're seeing those games, and they're going, well, there's no way we're going to miss out on what Activision's been doing and how they became the biggest publisher on the planet. We're going to keep getting that piece of the pie. We're going to keep putting stuff on all the other systems. What does that mean? It might mean that we're going to get a 6-month exclusivity. We'll get it day one on Game Pass to give you the incentive of, hey, fear of missing out. I get to play it 6 months ahead of everybody else on Game Pass. But 6 months later, if you decided that Game Pass wasn't for you and that you still want to, game on your traditional console, they're going to publish it on the traditional console and charge you $60 for it or $70 or whatever the games may cost at the time. And they're happy to do so because it did not hurt Call of Duty sales. Chris and I, when we were on the channel, had a little debate whether or not, Game Pass was going to hurt the sales of Call of Duty being day one on Game Pass. And Chris thought because of that, they wouldn't come out day one on Game Pass. Well, lo and behold, it came out day one on Game Pass. Not only did Game Pass numbers subscriptions rise because of Call of Duty, because hell, it's available right now and I don't have to pay $70 for those of us who didn't want to pay $70, or those of you who are casual fans. It also, people who didn't want to jump onto Game Pass that stayed on PlayStation or PC, they just bought the game outright on those platforms because that's what they want to game on. And the same thing's going to be happening going forward. And we're seeing that with games like Indiana Jones, which we got the exclusivity for the first 6 months to a year on Game Pass, and now it's coming over. And Fable, it's making its way multi-platform. Well, I mean, this is it, guys. There's no more moving the goalposts. Xbox is moving away from traditional consoles. Are they going to be just a third-party publisher? Yes and no. It's kind of, here and there, because it's somewhere in the middle, because they will have exclusivity timed. I keep saying timed. It will be timed exclusive. Eventually, these games will make their way onto other platforms, specifically PC. PC will get everything, and they might get it right away. But PlayStation will definitely be getting these games down the line. And now we're seeing Nintendo in the fold, and we saw games like Minecraft make its way over to Nintendo. You can't argue with it anymore. And you can leave a comment down below. You can hit that dislike button if you want. But the reality of it is the walls are closing in on you, and now it looks like Halo is coming to Nintendo Switch 2 and PlayStation 5. Well, what can I say? Leave me a comment. Please let me know what you think about these latest rumors and speculations. You know, tomorrow, today is January the 15th. Tomorrow, we should be having the reveal, according to a lot of sources on the internet, for the Switch 2. And we'll be getting a better look at hardware and a few games. Just to quickly touch, it also seems like Ubisoft is going to be putting all their cards into the Switch 2 with at least 6 games out during the launch window, which is a lot. A lot of Assassin's Creed ports will be making it over, and supposedly a Rabbids collection of some sort. So take a look out, get a look out for that. As always, happy to have you guys here watching the channel. Please leave a like, share, and subscribe. It's helping us a lot. Check out a video I just made about the latest on YouTube ads. It might be somewhere either up here or down here. I don't know. But as always, I thank you guys for joining us, and see you guys next time. Actually, we'll see you guys tomorrow if the Switch 2 gets revealed.